County Board of Education regular session and second public budget hearing board meeting for Karen O'Bannon is now called to order. Just for Karen O'Bannon. Mr. Curry, would you mind leading us in a word of prayer to get started?
Sure. Thank you, Lord, for this evening that we're able to gather together and, gather together for this board meeting. We ask that you give us wisdom and strength that we make decisions that are best for our children. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
All right, I recommend approval of the agenda for September 13th, 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
All right, I recommend approval of the minutes for August 4th and August 18 of 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Do you want to do Karen or do a superintendent update until Mr. Anderson gets here to be here for the full budget?
Well, I can do my update if you want to.
Flip, but that way
It's
Mr.
already okay to
Anderson's
flip.
available for the whole budget hearing. Yes.
All right, I know he doesn't want to miss
He called me
that.
specifically.
Or is he presenting tonight?
Yes, he's my backup.
All right. As far as the update goes, we've got a few things here. Miss Mary Gaylor at Riverton Elementary has been recognized. She's kind of taken this upon herself, where they have a morning walking club. As kids get drop off, she has a club and they walk. Well, she has kind of taken it to the next level, and she's written a grant and received a grant to build a track at Riverton, and they had the presentation today, this morning, in this article recognizing her. Also came in that I saw there for promoting healthy habits. The grant came in from Blue Cross Blue Shield with Mr. Jeff Adams helped with that, and Commissioner Jones also gave a lot of his work to make that happen, basically for the cost of the grant, even though he covered a lot of that. So it was kind of a celebration day today. On the left side's the article there, and on the right side some of the pictures from today. So that was a fun celebrating time today at Riverton Elementary. On a few days ago, I had a chance to meet. It was actually on the professional development day. Dylan came up and wanted to know if he could kind of pop in, and he brought his service dog with him, Jack, and we spent an awesome half hour together. And I wanted to announce Dylan has a benefit. He now has taken upon himself to raise money for other kids who need service dogs. And so he now has a nonprofit to raise, and he's a student at Monrovia Middle School. And it happens to be scheduled on a night we have a board meeting, so I said we couldn't make it, but it's November the 17th. And I told him I would help to get the word out from them. So tickets are $80 each, and encourage you to reach out to him. You can email him at dcubed32803@gmail, and we can have we can help you get that information. If you email me, we can get that to you. So we'll be pushing that out through our social media too. But it's Jack left a few pieces of treats and dog food in there. I found a couple days after that, but we had a great time in there, and we have several service animals in our schools, and we treat them like students. So they're kind of our students with that. So
Dylan's mother's also a teacher at Harvest Elementary.
that's right. That's right. And so she was working, Dylan and his dad came in, and he's done everything from hiking the Appalachian Trail to raise funds so we got to share hiking stories and camping trade secrets, and but he's an incredible young man, an incredible family.
Hope your carpet didn't impact his claws.
He made himself very comfortable.
That's probably why he left his treats in there. He couldn't find them.
He couldn't find them. It's down in there. All right. Also, I want to congratulate Mount Carmel Elementary School. They got recognized and did their unveiling for. They're now a Blue Ribbon School of Excellence, and they worked really hard for that. And and it is a reflection of the excellence going on in our school system, and we have joined the club of other schools that are blue ribbon schools of excellence, and we have other schools that go through that improvement process that are lined up to go through it. So they'll be recognized in Orlando in December at the Blue Ribbon Conference. And we have so many folks, of our folks actually, to go down there and present at that conference. And we, it's a, man, our school, going through that process is such an improvement thing, but then to get the recognition on top of that. So congrats to Mount Carmel. Do you want to add anything onto that?
Just, I think that you about covered it and kind of stole any thunder of me being allowed to announce it, but
Sorry.
that's okay. I just want to say that I think that is a great thing, not just for our faculty and staff, but it says a lot about our community and the way that we support our principals and our teachers, because Blue Ribbon is not obtained without community input as well. And so I'm appreciative of my community, the community I live in, supporting Carrie Bass and her staff and being able to obtain that.
And I also want to announce and to remind that the Madison County Schools Parent Organization is hosting a candidate forum on October 13th, and for District 5, Ms. Rucker and Ms. Wyckoff that will be there. So I want to invite you guys out. It'll be at 6 p.m. at the Sparkman High School cafeteria. Is it? Okay. So everyone, all the board members are invited to that. And all of the public, obviously, too. So those are the updates. And Karen, are you ready?
And you ready for procedures? They held it up just for you.
Oh, there you go.
We knew you wouldn't want to miss
It's
it.
only his 18th.
Yeah.
Stop saying
What's your last chance?
that. That's right. Good evening. Gina Gross, will you please stand, please?
Stand.
And we're color coordinating, we didn't even plan this, so she has to. Gina is our county supervisor, and she's such a great assistant, support, and everything for me as we prepare budgets, financial reporting, whatever it might be in the county budgeting world. She's right by my side, and she's incredible. If you've had the opportunity to work with Gina, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I hope you will soon have that opportunity, so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, whether it's a payroll issue or whatever it might be. She's an incredible young lady, and I just couldn't do my job without her. So I just wanted to say that tonight. At the first, is this on?
That one goes through our internet feed.
Do I need one?
The other one is for the floor mic.
Okay, I don't think I need one. This will be brief anyway, so I don't think I need one. At the first, are we good? Thank you, Austin. At the first public budget hearing, I covered the general operating fund resources and expenditures. Tonight, we will briefly discuss the final budget report for fiscal year 2017 for all fund types, as we are going to be presenting this to the board for approval. So if you have your budget booklet, I'm going to flip through quickly some pages and highlight some areas that we didn't quite get through at the last meeting. So if you'll please turn to page 4 in your proposed budget booklet, we'll start there. And this is the overall $200 million budget for Madison County Schools. You can see under general fund type, the general operating budget represents approximately $150 million of that $200 million. So, and with a projected beginning and ending 1 month reserve, as you'll see at the bottom, of $12.5 million. So if you'll go over, this reflects all fund types. It's the budget summary page for FY 2017. If you'll go over to the next page, we updated this for you guys. This is page 5. This is our general fund operating budget that includes the Office of School Readiness state grants under other. We didn't have all that included last time, so you can see and compare with the current year we're in now. And note at the bottom, we're going to talk about those OSR grants. They total $1.8 million. And are required to be reported in general fund because it's state money. But note at the bottom, salaries and fringes represent 83% of our general operating budget. So, as I said, and the increase in revenues and expenditures, as I said before, from 2016 is a result primarily of the 4% raise. But everything in here was pretty much covered in the PowerPoint presentation on the first, so I'm not going through all that. So let's move back to special revenue funds and our federal program allocations. Let's go to page 31 if you want to follow along. And note here, we went over the federal allocations, and we'll show you the expenditure side in just a moment. But note at the bottom, or the last line item, our OSR, pre-K grants that we've awarded for this year. And go to the next page, please. And you can see the breakdown of the $1.8 million, this local school breakdown for those grants. It shows grant 1, 2, 3, and so on for the individual schools. I will say, Dr. Jensen, Dr. Slaughter, and Jenny Gross have worked diligently getting these pre-K budgets added for our schools and for our students this year in compliance with our state regulations, and that it was quite an undertaking and much appreciated. And they do that in addition to the Title I duties that we'll talk about in just a minute in getting those budgets prepared for our local schools. So you can see here our grant awards, and should make a great impact on our little guys and gals in our preschools. Very excited about that. Before we go to Title I, go to the next page, please. This is our special education IDEA B expenditures representing $3.6 million on page 33. Note that 65% of the budget is required for classroom aids, so it really takes a chunk off the top and somewhat limits some other innovative things that we'd like to do. However, Ms. Stump does a great job juggling the resources that we have and using them most effectively and as efficient as we possibly can. We're constantly in staffing, after staffing, before staffing, moving and moving the resources, the staff, where they're most needed to serve those students, to serve our special needs students. And she does a phenomenal job with that. Okay, Title I. I told you I would bring you a breakdown on those on pages 34 through 37. First, on the first page, you'll see a detail of the set-asides or the program costs that come off the top. Then the local school allocations are broken down separately for a total of $2.2 million. So 83% of that budget goes directly to our 9 Title I schools. We added one this year. We added Harvest. And the allocation increased by about $500,000, so we can offer more opportunities to our students, which was great news for us for this year. Let's see. Then after that, as you can go through and just see the breakdown for personnel costs, non-personnel cost includes, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong or add to it, but mostly like your computers, your programs for the students, for the school, travel, professional development, supplies, software, and IT services as well. I didn't spell those out in each area, but if you have any question about any school in your district, not in your district, just let me know and we can provide more detail. Let's move past Title I to Title II. It's our last main title grant, and it's on page 38. These funds are used to reduce class sizes by allowing us to employ, as you can see here, 6 additional teachers, where state unearned units sometimes fall short because of in some of our smaller elementary schools, where they don't earn that many that are state funded. The team led by Mr. Solly, the instructional team led by Mr. Solly, they prioritize the needs in the specific grades, reviewing all the staffing reports and the enrollment and the class sizes in each grade in each of our schools in order to make a determination where the need is, the greatest need is. And these are where they were added this year in our budget. And then we have a little left over to assist with professional development to cover substitutes and things of that nature when we bring teachers in and other staff members in for professional development. So great use of that money. We covered child nutrition last time, so let's move past that. And page 40 we also covered, but I want you to take a look again at our required debt payments for fiscal year 2017, principal and interest. That's coming due after October 1. And then our capital projects, funds available are shown on page 42. We'll just keep flipping. And this coincides with our capital plan. The last fund type on the financial statements or on the budget proposal sheet are our fiduciary fund types. Please go to page 45. This is the projected amount in the budget for our booster clubs. These are tracked through our local schools for our non-public school-affiliated organizations. And you can see on the next page by school. Now remember, these are budgeted numbers. These aren't actual. But the staff, the principals, the administrators, the bookkeepers, the teachers, the coaches work together to come up with their plan for the school year or the fiscal year. And this is the plan for non-public funds as well as public funds. Public funds are reported in with special revenue funds and federal programs. So you'll see them in a different fund type in the financial statements. But again, when we look at the financial statement that we're going to approve tonight, if you look over in the fiduciary fund type for July, you'll see these non-public booster clubs. And right now, it's close to what they've earned this year, $2 million. So the budget projections look reasonable. And we look over those before we roll them into the system budget. Finally, in the back, the pages you'll see it's our staffing summary for fiscal year 2017. The first page is actually numbered 48. If you'll go to page 48, you have to skip a page. Is everybody with me? Page 48. The first page, that is the first page. You can see with a slight change or decrease in enrollment, our total number of employees has also decreased slightly. And the ADM, that's a projected number right now from Mr. Snell and his office. We will know this month what our official ADM, average daily membership, is soon. So that is projected. And Mr. Massey and I were looking today, when you compare, even though he made a great point, we're down slightly about 200 students, but our pre-K numbers are up to 580 students. Is that right, Mr. Massey? Pre-K is not shown on here. It's not included because it doesn't track with the foundation program and funding, unfortunately. But so our pre-K numbers are and that, that's a result, of course, of the grants that we're receiving and the additional support we're receiving from the state, too. And the great job our administrators are doing by bringing those kids in at an early age. The central office, as you see there in central facilities, personnel, the only change noted is where we moved the secretary from maintenance to computer services. She actually serves both departments, but is housed and works more in the computer services department. So we do have a lot of sharing going on in the school system, and most of the time it works really well. So that was a change there for this year. Then the staffing reports by school follow the summary page, and these are, again, broken down by each local school. These are state forms, so I don't want you to think. You see where it says, it's supposed to say assistant principals, and it says, I can't even say it, assistant, leaves out an S on all those pages for local schools. We did not do that. Those are state forms, and that print cannot be changed. We can change, of course, the numbers and the staffing, but we can't change that print. So every school system in the state will have that in their budget proposal. It's not just Madison County. So I just wanted to make that point. And, you know, if there's any questions or anything you'd like to see or you didn't see before, we still have the PowerPoint presentation for the September 1st meeting that we can share with you electronically. Or if you have any questions tonight before we present this for formal approval, just let me know. Any questions?
And these are, you know, we went through the staff reports. We shared these and over the staff, so it's a little bit easier to read
Several class size units down this year from what we've had in the past.
No.
We always just have like 6.
Our allocation's down a little bit, but we were able to maintain 6.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
Administrative.
We ready?
I'm ready. Y'all ready?
Okay. All right, for administrative actions, I recommend approval of the financial statement, payment of bills, and cash reports for July of 2016.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the July financial statement? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, I recommend approval of the fiscal year 2017 budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. I recommend approval of the fiscal year 2017 to 2021 5-year capital plan.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Hang on just a second. No discussion. I'm good.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, kind of?
I'm good.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 No.
And we have copies of that in the back for anyone that would like that.
That was my shoes. 4 to 1.
I recommend approval of the deletion of surplus property.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, I recommend approval of Aaron's Law curriculum.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. I recommend approval of the change item number 01 for Hazel Green High School second floor mechanical unit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I recommend the following approval of the following contracts for services as attached.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes.
All right. I recommend approval of the following personnel items as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion also passes.
I think that's
Request the executive session.
Yes. Does anybody have anything open forum they'd like to say regarding their district? Okay, at this point, we have a request to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation. Do we have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
During executive session, we will not be discussing anything that we'll be voting on this evening, so when we come back, we'll be voting to adjourn. Y'all are welcome to stay for that. But otherwise, thank you for coming.